World War II is over. The Nazis are gone. Japan has surrendered. Two countries are looking at each other across the smoking ruins of the world and thinking, wait, we are not actually friends. Meet the United States. Democratic. Capitalist. Riding high on winning the war. They had 87% of all the world's gold, the largest economy on Earth, and a nuclear weapon. Just one, but still. And meet the Soviet Union. Communist. Enormous. Run by Joseph Stalin, a man who had killed more of his own people than the Nazis had, and who now wanted to make sure nothing like this ever happened to him again. His plan: control everything within reach. These two countries had teamed up to defeat Hitler. Which was a bit like hiring a serial killer to help fight another serial killer. Convenient at the time. Awkward afterward. In February 1945, they met at Yalta in Crimea. Roosevelt, Churchill, and Stalin sat around a table and divided up post-war Europe. Free elections in Eastern Europe, Stalin agreed. A democratic Poland, he agreed. Post-war cooperation, absolutely. Then Roosevelt died. Harry Truman showed up. And Stalin kept the parts of the agreement he liked, specifically the part where he got to control Eastern Europe, and quietly forgot about the rest. Winston Churchill gave a speech in Missouri in 1946. From Stettin in the Baltic to Trieste in the Adriatic, he said, an iron curtain has descended across the continent. He was right. Eastern Europe was now Soviet territory in everything but name. Secret police. Show trials. One-party rule. The usual package. Germany got split in two. West Germany, democratic and bankrolled by America. East Germany, communist and not having a great time. Berlin, which sat inside East Germany, got split as well. West Berlin became a tiny western island deep inside communist territory, which drove Stalin absolutely crazy. In 1948, he tried to force the West out by blockading all roads and railways into West Berlin. No trucks. No trains. Nothing. America responded by flying supplies in. Every single day. For 11 months. 278,000 flights. Everything from coal to Christmas candy. The Soviets eventually gave up. Round 1, America. But then the Soviets got the bomb. In 1949, the USSR successfully tested its first nuclear weapon. America had been the world's only nuclear power for 4 years and had been feeling very comfortable about this. Now both superpowers had weapons that could flatten cities. By the mid-50s they had weapons that could end countries. By the 60s, enough to end human civilization several times over. Just in case the first few times did not take. This approach had a name: mutually assured destruction. Or MAD. They named it MAD on purpose. If you launch, I launch. We are both dead. So neither of us launches. Theoretically. This worked. For 46 years, no nuclear weapon was ever fired in anger. The bar was underground, but they cleared it. Since they could not fight each other directly without ending all human life, both sides started fighting in other countries instead and calling it something else. Korea, 1950. Communist North Korea, backed by the Soviets and China, invaded democratic South Korea. America led a United Nations force to push them back. 3 years. 2 million dead. The border ended almost exactly where it started. The Korean War technically never ended. There is only a ceasefire. It is still technically ongoing right now. Then Cuba. A revolutionary named Fidel Castro took over the island 90 miles from Florida and turned it communist. The Soviets sent missiles. Kennedy found out. We have a whole short about what happened next. The very short version: everyone almost died, then did not. Cuba stayed communist. The missiles left. Everyone agreed never to do that again. Meanwhile, both sides decided they were not just going to compete in wars. They were going to compete everywhere. Including space. In 1957, the Soviets launched Sputnik, the world's first artificial satellite. It was the size of a beach ball, it orbited Earth in 98 minutes, and it beeped. That was it. Just beeped. Americans heard it on their radios and lost their minds. In 1961, Soviet cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin became the first human in space. America panicked harder. Kennedy announced America would land on the moon before the end of the decade, which was either inspiring or a very public dare, depending on how you look at it. In 1969, Neil Armstrong walked on the moon. America stopped panicking. The Soviets quietly cancelled their moon program and claimed they were never really trying. Vietnam. Ho Chi Minh's communist North Vietnam wanted to reunify with the South. America decided this would be the domino that tipped all of Southeast Asia into communism. So they sent advisors. Then troops. Then a lot of troops. Then bombing campaigns. For 15 years. 58,000 Americans died. Millions of Vietnamese died. And in 1975, North Vietnam won anyway. The domino theory was mostly wrong. Vietnam unified under communism, and the neighboring countries did not follow. By the 1970s, everyone needed a break. Nixon went to China, which shocked absolutely everyone, including China. Arms limitation treaties got signed. This was called détente, French for "we are exhausted, please stop." Then Ronald Reagan happened. Reagan called the Soviet Union the evil empire and meant every word of it. He launched the biggest peacetime military buildup in American history. He proposed a missile defense system the press nicknamed Star Wars. He sent weapons and money to anyone fighting Soviets anywhere in the world. The Soviets were already spending 25% of their entire economy on the military and falling further behind. And they were losing in Afghanistan, which they had invaded in 1979. It turned into a 9-year disaster, their version of Vietnam, except dustier and at higher altitude. In 1985, Mikhail Gorbachev took over the Soviet Union and realized the whole system was fundamentally broken. He introduced glasnost, openness, and perestroika, restructuring. He genuinely believed this would modernize and save communism. What it actually did was let everyone in the Soviet bloc say what they really thought about communism. Out loud. For the first time. It turned out, they hated it. Poland held free elections. Hungary opened its borders. Czechoslovakia had a velvet revolution, very peaceful, very polite. Romania was slightly less velvet. One by one, the Eastern European countries walked out of the Soviet bloc, and this time nobody sent tanks. On November 9, 1989, the Berlin Wall came down. It was not bombed. It was not stormed. A confused East German official accidentally announced at a press conference that the border crossings were open, immediately, without restriction. People showed up with hammers. Nobody stopped them. And that was that. 2 years later, on Christmas Day 1991, the Soviet Union officially dissolved. 15 new countries appeared on the map overnight. Gorbachev resigned. The red flag came down from the Kremlin. The Cold War was over. It had lasted 46 years. It was fought in jungles, deserts, laboratories, newsrooms, space, and under the desks of every schoolchild who ever practiced hiding from a nuclear attack. The two superpowers never fired a nuclear weapon at each other. That was the whole deal. Mutually assured destruction. It worked, in the way that two people pointing loaded guns at each other for 46 years is technically working. It works right up until it does not. And that is the Cold War. The blunt historian. History explained. No fluff.